A trip to the west coast of Scotland is always full of surprises. Even when the weather says partly cloudy, you plan for all four seasons. So today I want to share the real Applecross experience. We recently spent 2 days exploring this beautiful peninsula, and it wasn't the first time we've been there, so we knew what to expect. But this time the weather was especially moody and incredibly beautiful. I hope you enjoy. We had booked 2 nights stay at the Applecross Campsite, the only place to camp on Applecross, unless you prefer wild camping. But in my experience, the weather is very unpredictable and wild on this remote peninsula, so it's worth having a backup or a place to stay. Before the 1800s, Applecross was only accessible by boat. But they built this road called the Bealach, which means Pass of the Cattle. It's considered one of the most beautiful but treacherous roads in the UK, and you can probably see why. This single-track road is a tight squeeze, especially when there are a lot of tourists. But if you take your time, eventually you reach Applecross Campsite. We started doing annual camping trips here in 2017, and they've made a lot of improvements to the campsite over the years, with new shower and toilet rooms, a fish and chip van on site, options for tents and caravans. So it's a pretty great place to unplug, but still have some of the comforts of home. But one of the best parts is the amazing view over the inner sound, and on a clear day you can see all the way over to Raasay, Rona, and even some of the black Cuillins of Skye. We made it to Applecross after a very harrowing drive up the Bealach.
It wasn't harrowing at all.
To me, because I was on the cliffside and it was just pouring rain. Well, you guys saw. And now we are on our way down to the Applecross Inn for the best sticky toffee pudding in the world.
Well, and some dinner.
Oh yeah, dinner too.
Yeah.
It's currently not raining, so we are taking advantage of this little window. The main street on Applecross, or as the locals say, just the street, is surprisingly well stocked with amenities as well, the Applecross Inn being our favorite for dinner and drinks by the water. Our mission to find the best sticky toffee pudding in Scotland is ongoing, but we can confirm that so far, the Applecross Inn wins. If you aren't familiar with this amazing dessert, it's basically like a sticky date sponge cake, and it's covered in toffee sauce and usually served with vanilla custard or ice cream.
Yeah, weekend off. Oh, just so busy.
Almost every restaurant in Scotland serves this amazing dessert, so there are plenty of versions that you can try for yourself. But when it's done right, this is what you look like. Red deer are everywhere in Applecross, and they've become quite familiar with all the tourists, so you frequently see them at the campsite. Speaking of which, we always opt for these little camping huts because they offer a lot of protection from the sometimes very intense weather, but it just gives you that camping or cabin in the woods feel. raining and really windy and getting dark quick. So we're just gonna be cozy in the cabin, watch movies, and hang out.
And die.
And he's gonna die apparently because he ate so much. As many of you know, I'm an artist and photographer, but when I'm faced with weather like this, I really just focus on photography, and these are some of the images I captured on our first day there. The next day, I woke up early so I could walk down to the water and find something to paint, because we had a tiny little window of time where it wasn't just super windy and raining. But as the day went on, it got worse and worse, so we spent most of the time driving around, finding pretty views, trying to get out and take photos whenever we could. But it was just a day of exploring and really, really peaceful and relaxing. If you want to see any of the sketches I did on this trip, you can go check that out on my art channel. As an artist and a content creator, I can easily get sucked into this mode of just working nonstop, whether it's taking photos or videos for future content or sketching and painting what I see. And while I love those things so much, it doesn't really allow me to calm myself and have a real vacation. And so when I'm faced with constantly changing dramatic weather, it really forces me to slow down and just be still, be quiet, and take in my surroundings. So I'm very grateful for that in the end. Our final day in Applecross was a short one because checkout is at 10 a.m. So after that, we just headed home, and it was kind of good timing because the worst weather hit us on the final day. But of course, you just surrender to it and enjoy the beauty. Us headed home in another cloud. But no trip to Applecross is complete without a stop at the Bealach Cafe and Gallery. And this is actually the first gallery in Scotland who showed some of my paintings. So I'm very grateful to the owner, Sharon, who is so friendly, and she's been there every time we've gone. The whole staff is just super welcoming, and they make the most delicious food and coffees. So after a beautiful 2 days in Applecross, we said goodbye to the misty weather and headed back to the warm countryside we call home. It amazes me how drastically different the two coasts are. So we live on the northeast coast of the Highlands, which is super rocky with big dramatic cliffs, and quite often the rock is light in color and the waters are more blue and turquoise. So it just has a whole different feel to it. But I honestly love both so much, and they both provide so much inspiration for my art. So like I said, if you want to check out some of the artwork I painted when I got home from the Applecross trip, go check that out on my other channel, Sarah Burns Studio, which is my art channel, and I post weekly videos there. So if you're more interested in seeing Scotland through the view of an artist, make sure to subscribe there. But if you enjoyed this little adventure to Applecross, I would really appreciate a thumbs up on this video to help other people find my content. And if you have a story about visiting Applecross or a nearby area and want to share it in the comments, I would love to hear your stories. Okay everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.